Muchachos y muchachas, welcome back. And for those that are new, welcome. My name is Natalie Denise. I have been covering the dark aspects of our pop culture in Hollywood, entertainment, music, as well as fashion, which has been spotlighted recently due to the Balenciaga scandal. If you're new to all of that, there are videos in which we have been documenting, detail by detail, kind of breaking it down as it gets revealed, and there are way more to come. So if you're not subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell. Now, I wanted to overview the recent lawsuit that Balenciaga filed against the production entities North 6 as well as Nicolas Desjardins, the set designer. They dropped the lawsuit over the weekend, and I'm sure that was by tactic. That was very calculated. We're going to go through some of that because there is a reaction within the fashion industry. It's a very mixed reaction, including one of a supermodel's mother that has a form of stance with the production companies. Now, I wanted to also just overview some of the latest statements that have been published by Balenciaga through 𝘠𝘴𝘦, the creative director. There's a lot to cover. With that being said, hold on to your butts, secure your wigs, stay right there. We're going to go through it. Really quick, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, 𝘲𝑃owerbills. Usually I would show you the contraption in hand, but this little baby is plugged in because I am going to save money on my power bill this month. 𝘲𝑃owerbill is a contraption that will stabilize your electrical current, and it will keep you from overusing electricity. And as you all know, with all the prices surged, such as gas, groceries, utilities, everything, the power bill is also on the rise. And with that being said, you guys want this little gadget to help you save power bills. That's 𝘲𝑃owerbills.com. Get one and save money on your power bill today. Okay, so as you all know or have been following the whole Balenciaga scandal, Balenciaga actually filed a lawsuit against the set designer and the production company, Nicolas Desjardins and North 6, respectively, to what I named. And a lot of people had the same consensus. Well, they are blame shifting. They are trying to point the finger. They're trying to find a scapegoat in all of this, because how can a major fashion house like Balenciaga not know what they are publishing on their website, on their social media? Obviously, if we had a few minutes to assess that this was wrong and come to the conclusion that it was wrong, then they could have done the same. But obviously something was missing in their assessment. So they put out various statements. They apologized. They admitted that children should not have been part of the shoot. Now, it got a lot worse, outside of the children posing with these inappropriately adorned bears in bondage and BDSM, and the selected set accessories like empty wine and champagne glasses and beer mugs and all these things, right? And there was even one picture of a little girl that was laying face down in the shoot. So there was a lot of instances included with the U.S. court documents that kind of fought for free speech and all of these really weird things, CSAM. Anyway, okay, so in all of this, the lawsuit was filed against the set designer, set production company, and it hit the headlines, right? So all the mainstream headlines picked this up. Oh, Balenciaga files $25 million lawsuit. And over the weekend, miraculously, this lawsuit was dropped. A lot of people speculated that this lawsuit wasn't going to go anywhere far, because they admitted, first of all, that it was their responsibility. They should have had more oversight. They should have known this, blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of confusing that they would even file the lawsuit in the first place. Now, I'm going to read a latest statement that was it was actually posted by 𝘠𝘴𝘦, the creative director of Balenciaga, in which It lists out more protocols and more acknowledgement that they are taking responsibility for this entire shoot, in which it reads, Balenciaga takes the following actions with the objective to learn from our mistakes as an organization. New control instances. Our current process for content validation has failed, and we recognize the need to do better. On the internal side, we nominate with immediate effect an image board responsible for evaluating the nature of our content from concept to final assets, including legal, sustainability, and diversity expertise. Okay, my question is, that wasn't happening already? Like, you guys, I believe from what I have had some form of fashion industry. It was through makeup, right? I used to work for MAC Cosmetics, and so in a way it was kind of an appendage of the fashion industry, but it wasn't necessarily like apparel, right? But we also had a lot to do with the production of events and things like this. So I would imagine that, in fact, ironically, North 6 would produce a lot of MAC Cosmetic events, you know, the higher tier events and all that. So with that being said, it's puzzling to me that they didn't already have somebody assessing the storyboards and coming to the conclusion that things were inappropriate. In fact, it makes me wonder what those conversations looked like, talking about the theme of this particular photo shoot and how that passed all the checks. So that's confusing to me. So continued on. On the external side, we have appointed a best-in-class agency to assess and evaluate our content. Organization, we have reorganized our image department to ensure full alignment with our corporate guidelines. The lawsuit, this is the part where it admits that Balenciaga has decided to not pursue litigation. Learn and contribute, we want to help and contribute to protect children. We are starting training responsible communication across our teams. Together with my team, we will go listen to a listening tour to engage with advocacy groups who aim to protect children. Donation, we have set aside a significant fund for grants to organizations so that we can help make a difference in protecting children. I want to personally reiterate my sincere apologies for the offense caused and take my responsibility. At Balenciaga, we stand together for children's safety and do not tolerate any kind of violence and hatred message. This is signed Cédric Charbit, President and CEO of Balenciaga. Now, the interesting portion of this is that this indeed, once again, was posted to 𝘠𝑚𝑛A's Instagram, not Balenciaga, not their website. This was posted to 𝘠𝑚𝑛A's Instagram, who is the creative director of Balenciaga. Now, Balenciaga did post it to their story. Let me actually walk that back. Now, it was posted in a form to their Instagram, but it was posted in a story. Once again, to me, that just shouts, we don't really take this 100% seriously. They're not issuing out official statements on their website. You know, this is kind of like a 24-hour post. It disappears. So there's some sort of calculation there, right? Now, 𝘠𝑚𝑛A also had a personal message where he says, personal message, I want to personally apologize for the wrong artistic choice. First of all, this is not artistic. Children being exploited is not artistic, okay? So the initial thought of this being an art is completely wrong and needs to be completely taken out of your thought process if you think that children being exploited is art. So anyway, he apologized for the wrong artistic choices of concept for the gifting campaign with the kids, and I take responsibility. It was inappropriate to have kids promote objects that had nothing to do with them. As much as I would sometimes like to provoke a thought through my work, I would never have any intention to do that with such an awful subject as child abuse, and I condemn, period. I need to learn from this, listen, and engage with child protection organizations to know how I can contribute and help this terrible subject. I apologize to anyone offended by the visuals, and Balenciaga has guaranteed that adequate measures will be taken not only to avoid similar mistakes in the future, but also take accountability in protecting child welfare in every way we can. Sincerely, 𝘠𝑚𝑛A. So the most interesting aspect to all of this is the fact that Balenciaga has not once addressed the additional controversies, right? So the controversies that did make the headlines, let me recap, are the children that modeled with the inappropriately adorned bears, with the theme of bondage and BDSM, and also the child exploitation documents, or actually they were court documents fighting for free speech in the child exploitative, scenario or whatever. So those are the things that really made the headlines. But the thing that did not make the headlines as much, I did see an article by Daily Mail, but not as much as attention was drawn to it, were the books that were found in the background of an office shoot in the same campaign. Okay, so this was an office shoot. A redhead model was in an office chair. There were books in the backgrounds that had artists that depicted children and very weird art, right? Very weird scenarios of, just creatures, cannibalistic creatures, themes, things like this, right? So they never once addressed this issue, not once, right? This is a big concern to me because this seems, in my personal opinion, to be derived from the stylist and the particular individuals in the fashion industry surrounding Balenciaga's staffers or their characters, whatever you want to call them. They do exhibit these signs in their Instagram, their posts, the things that they're into, right? And that's something that you guys can also go back on my videos and see for yourself. These are themes that they have been interested in. So it makes me wonder why they don't even want to touch that subject, that they did include those artists and the books in one of their photo shoots. Okay. So this is the next part that I wanted to address. So there are, there is speculation that industry insiders of the fashion industry, like casting directors, production, models, things like this, a lot of people have been screaming for accountability, right? And we've seen this a lot with Kim Kardashian. People have been coming at Kim Kardashian, keeping her accountable. Hey, can you condemn Balenciaga? Will you cut ties with Balenciaga? She comes out with a weak sauce statement. It's not clear whether or not she cut ties with Balenciaga. So right now that's kind of in the air. Kanye took a very weird stance to back Balenciaga, although his net worth and his ties to Balenciaga were cut because of all the controversies that he was stirring himself. So I think that's weird as well. I actually don't want to be a hypocrite. How are we going to come against Kim Kardashian and not come against Ye for backing Balenciaga? That, to me, that's even worse. At least Kim Kardashian, I know it was a weak acknowledgement of Balenciaga, but at least she did it, right? So how are we not going to come at Ye for, standing with Balenciaga, saying that all these things? Anyway, I don't want to go into that tangent because I really want to cover what I want to cover. Okay. So, fashion industry insiders. There is a casting director with DM Casting. DM Casting is really this big league casting agency for, fashion shows, high-end fashion shows and productions, things like this. And Bella Hadid has been one to work with DM Casting, right? And so what is his name? 𝘲𝘳𝘓𝘉𝘉 is a casting agent for DM Casting, and he made this post on his Instagram in which it does two things. Number one, it does confirm everything that we thought. First of all, that Balenciaga would be the entity to make these approvals and nods for all of the content in their fashion shoots, down to the documents. And the other thing is that they stand with the production entities, and that itself is controversial, and we'll continue on. But first I want to read his statement, in which I want you guys to take notice that he actually reposted it from Chris Bowles, which is another production company, or I think Chris Bowles artist.com or whatever. So they also do a lot of production. So again, the rabbit hole, the connections just get more expansive. Anyway, this is the statement that they collectively made, in which it reads, "As a longtime and experienced member of the fashion and creative industry, I am compelled to state my support of North 6 in its ongoing involvement with Balenciaga. It's troubling to see a fashion house knowingly deflect blame on hired production company to avoid responsibility for its own creative decisions. Clients are on the set and responsible for all approvals throughout, and most importantly, have a final say before all the images are released to the public." Production does not create the vision, but works to serve clients and bring to life their vision, not contribute their own, a practice that brands have long followed. Everybody in the fashion industry knows how closely brands create, test, define, and safeguard their image, including micromanaging all media associated with such imagery. I stand with the community to ensure that blaming production companies for the fallout and problems associated with vision and image does not become a norm, and hope that Balenciaga will see that North 6's name is properly cleared. So, although this is kind of a step in the right direction, the big idea is that the production entities had to know what they were shooting. They had to know what they were setting up for, right? Someone down the line had to say, hey, this is the theme that we're going for, right? These are the children that, on a storyboard somewhere, I would think, fashion, they utilize sketches a lot for the designs. I would think that there was some sort of concept that they talked about, that they had a conversation about at one point of the planning for the fashion shoots, right? Look, if you guys are in the fashion industry at all, please make a comment in the comment section below. I would love to know your perspective on this because, that is something that is very intricate that I wouldn't know, but I would think that there was some sort of hosting conversation beforehand to plan this shoot out. So, with that being said, a lot of people in the fashion industry are coming against this idea that the production company needs support and that they shouldn't be condemned because they could have rejected the offer, rejected the work, and walked away from this type of theme knowing what it was. And I just wanted to read some comments out to you. So, for instance, there's one that says the lawsuit is BS, but production company is guilty as well. They went along with it. Everyone who worked on these campaigns are responsible for their part. When you see stuff like this, you decline the client and report them. And then another one that is really, really interesting is Demna and his crowd have always been dark and toxic. Finally, now everyone is starting to see their true colors. Time to cleanse the industry. And then another one says, everyone knows what's going on, truth in plain sight. And, the list goes on and on. People are basically, and I would say holistically, a lot of people in this post, in this thread, are coming against the entirety of, let's stand with the production entities. Let's stand with the production designer and the production company, because it's like, look, we're all adults. We all have brains. We all have eyes. We can assess that this is wrong. You don't need a few days to know what's going on. You can see immediately that this whole theme was wrong, right? Now, there was one a comment that I just paused and I was like, whoa, this is a lot, or this is pretty ground shaking, in which this person comments, F Balenciaga. The Balenciaga scandal goes a lot deeper than we all know. There's a very dark connection between ritual abuse and child abuse. Their love for extreme art, which is a direct clue to ritual abuse, and child CSAM, we'll just call it CSAM, it's disgusting. There are so many links. People always want to talk about satanic ritual abuse is a conspiracy, but it ain't. Time for people to wake up that this is a very big hidden problem. And as a society, we shouldn't allow this to happen with children. I wish everybody in the fashion scene would admit this problem. 2023 should bring us more light. Do it for the children. Speak up. And a lot of people are endorsing this comment, saying yes, that this is true. So throughout all of the banter between people, fashion industry insiders, spectators, all of this within this post, the comment that spoke volumes to me is from Yolanda Hadid. Now, Yolanda Hadid is actually the mother of Bella and Gigi Hadid, supermodels. Bella Hadid in particular modeled for this particular campaign for Balenciaga. A lot of people have been, barking up her tree on her Instagram. Hey, are you going to make a statement? Are you going to acknowledge Balenciaga's, exploitation of children? And look, I get it. Let me just make a disclosure. I understand that there are going to be individuals that have absolutely no idea of what's going on in a fashion shoot or another fashion shoot, because if you remember Bella Hadid, she was in the Office shoot. So, she models, right? She's not going to know what documentation is lying around or what. At least I wouldn't expect her to. However, because the brand who hired her is the one who is screwing up and making all these weird gestures down the line, I would 100% think that it would be important to speak up as a person of influence and a person so, so ginormous in the industry, to, condemn the actions of Balenciaga, condemn the actions of child exploitation, be a voice for this type of topic, right? And I know she's young. I know Bella Hadid is very young. However, people who are advising her should 100% urge this type of statement. So Yolanda Hadid agreeing to this post is basically endorsing the idea that they are standing with the production set designer and the production company, in my personal opinion, which isn't necessarily the entire story, right? We still don't have any addressing from Nicolas Desjardins. We don't have any addressing from this North Six, or at least I haven't seen anything like that. So I think that this is not the entire story, and until we know the entire story, there needs to be some sort of condemnation of these choices on Balenciaga's part, and in which, I just find it interesting that Yolanda Hadid acknowledged this scandal through a comment section, but we haven't seen anything from the models themselves, including Nicole Kidman, by the way. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching these videos. By the way, if you like my top, it's great for winter, great for cold weather. You guys can get it at redingboutique.com, and you guys can use Red50 for 50% off. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to also follow me on social media to find my digs there. I do post throughout the day. I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.